Breaking news, according to my source, Sony has made the decision that Mortal Kombat 12 will come to current gen only. Now, current gen and next gen can get confusing, so I'm gonna fix that real quick so you can understand the video going forward. So, current gen is PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. That's considered current gen. Previous gen is considered Xbox One, PS4, and PC, you can say. But in this video, I want to make it clear that we're talking about current gen, which is PS5, Xbox Series X. Now that I cleared that up for you, let's continue with the video. So according to my source, Sony has struck a deal with NRS and WB to bring Mortal Kombat to the PS5. What I mean by that is the fact it's going to be on current gen and will not appear on previous gen. Now you're probably wondering, why would Sony do such a thing? Now, first of all, we know NRS is in bed with Sony, or I should say Sony is in bed with NRS and Warner Brothers. They have a very, very tight relationship. I already pointed this out in my previous video, so you can go check that out if that's something, if you want more background on that. But as far as this video go here, you're asking yourself, why would Sony do such a thing? Why would they care which game the system come out on? Because they're gonna make money hand over fist, right? Well, I'm here to answer that question. So basically, you gotta remember, Sony makes their money off the back end. They make money off the back end by having new titles released on newer consoles, because when those newer consoles sell, it incentivizes more people to buy those consoles. For example, the PlayStation 5 has been out since 2020, I believe. Do you have a PlayStation 5? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no, because it's extremely hard for people to get their hands on a PS5. So Sony has been working to fix that issue. Now, you didn't hear it from me, but they're coming out with a new PS5. It's going to be more so like a slim version or a pro version, and it's going to be much cheaper. They are getting their production together because it was so hard to find a PS5 at the time, where it was selling very well, but that's because the scalpers were buying it and they were reselling it to people. So Sony made money regardless, but the only issue with that is that the PlayStations were not sold to the fans. They were being sold to scalpers who hijacked the price up on them, and only people that had deep pockets, such as rich people, were able to get them, or let's say more wealthy people were able to get them. And it's not like you could walk into a store and just buy a PS5. There has yet to be a place where I could walk in and you can buy a PS5. However, let me correct myself. There was only one place you could walk in to buy a PS5, but at that time I did not have the necessary funds available to get one. And by the time I went back, they were already sold, or whatever the case is. So that's the story there. That's my experience with PS5. I want to pass this question off to you guys in the comment section below really quick. What is your experience with trying to buy a system? Have you ever went to look for one and you couldn't find one? I can tell you, during the pandemic, an Xbox was always there. It was always available. I just don't like Xbox. I could have bought one. I should have bought one, so I could play with the Xbox fans, but I'm a PlayStation guy. So I can say Xbox was never sold out. It was always available, which worked in Sony's favor because Sony have the more desirable content. When something is short in supply, that only makes people want it even more than they wanted it before, especially when it's rare. It's hard to catch. It's like a shiny Pokemon, or whatever the case is. You wanted to tell your friends that you got it, and to see them scramble to get one too when you already completed the mission of getting one. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, okay, what makes you say that it's going to be exclusive? Well, again, it's big for Sony because now Sony is moving to phase 2 of their plan, in case you haven't noticed. They are looking to convert their PS4 users over to PS5. Now, Xbox didn't have this problem, as I just mentioned. Everybody was able to go from Xbox One to Xbox Series X because it's available. Everywhere you go, they have an Xbox for sale. You're going to be able to find one. You can go to pawn shops, you can go to Walmart, Target, Best Buy, GameStop, anywhere you want to go, they have them things readily available. Now, again, I went to multiple GameStops looking for a PS5 and was not able to find one at that time when I was searching for one. It was just not there. Simple as that. So, understand that Xbox has already moved millions of its fans over to its new console. Mind you, these new consoles have new power, It has new service, it has new incentives, new ad features, everything for them to sell stuff to more customers. And the developers have already moved on, because developers are now focused on making gaming content for the current generation. They're not focused on last gen. So just imagine you still got everybody playing PS4 or Xbox One, and the entire industry is working on content for Xbox Series X and PS5. It's a disconnect. So they need to fix that disconnect, which is something of what Sony is doing now by getting ready to release these more affordable PS5 Pros and just a complete redesign of the PS5, which is going to be cheaper, and it's going to solve shipping issues. Now that things are starting to get back to normal, because we know the games were out of whack. You couldn't get them because there was a chip shortage in America, or I should say worldwide. Like, everybody needed chips to make these consoles. They didn't have any chips to make them. So now that the chips are becoming back available, even though some of them are, let's say, back ordered, Sony is finally getting that order that they put in, which means they can literally ship up to about 8 to 9 million more PlayStation 5 consoles, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be more than that. But also, they have changed some of their manufacturing locations to try and help out with this issue here. So what I'm simply pointing out to you guys is the fact, and I'll break it down for the ones that you need to hear it twice. So listen to me when I say this again. Everybody is on the last gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox. Sony and the gaming industry is making games for the current gen, which is Xbox Series X, PS5, and PC. So there's a disconnect between the consumers and the creators, and that's what they're trying to do by filling that gap, by giving you an incentive to move up. For example, this happens all the time. This is how business works. When they come out with new cars, they tell you if you trade in your old one, you'll get credit towards the new one because they want your butt in that new car. Same thing with iPhone. Every time a new iPhone comes out, what they tell you to do, trade in your old iPhone and you'll get credit towards your new iPhone, because it's the incentive for you to upgrade and to get you to spend more money. The majority of us do this. For example, I got an iPhone. I believe it's a 13. I think I have an iPhone 13 or whatever it is. I traded in like my old, what was it, like iPhone 6 or something. I believe it was an iPhone 6 that I had, and I traded it in. Was it a 6? I can't remember if it was a 6 or a 9, whatever. I traded in one of my iPhones, and I actually ended up getting credit towards the iPhone that I ended up walking away with at that time. And it made me upgrade to a new iPhone. I had access to new features, and now, you know, Apple was able to get a new sale off me. Now they can legally put it on the record books that their iPhone is selling well, when the only thing they're doing is moving people from older phones to new phones, and it just reflects on the record. And now they can flex and say, hey guys, look, we're making sales, people are buying our new phone. Actually, no, people aren't buying your new phone. It's just your older buyers have been incentivized to upgrade to the newer ones, which is why they slow your phones. But let's get back to Mortal Kombat, because this is not an Apple video at all. So I can honestly say this is a smart move, and it's a bold move for Sony to be doing this, especially for Mortal Kombat 12 itself to be on current gen only. Now it makes sense, because you got to think about it. We're getting this big giant open world is what we're supposed to be getting. We're also supposed to be getting these crazy story cinematics is what we're supposed to be getting. And then you got Konquest and all of this other stuff. It's like the graphics is through the roof. It's insane. That's another video. If it hasn't dropped already, I will be dropping a video talking about what I saw in that gameplay trailer. Not gameplay trailer, but I'm going to be talking about what I saw in that gameplay, that small gameplay that I was able to see, that I was talking about on Twitter. So definitely stay tuned towards the channel for that if I haven't released it already. If you don't know if I released it already, then you may want to go to my YouTube page, and you're going to click on videos and see if you see anything related to gameplay, because I'm dropping that video ASAP. Now, releasing it on current gen is a smart move, as mentioned, because there's way more space. You get ray tracing. Not only do you get ray tracing, you get a whole bunch of other fantastic features where the characters look real, the story feels better, and there's 0 to no loading times. Now, be honest, Ed Boon said himself that he would, if he had to choose between shiny graphics and loading times, he would choose cheaper loading times or quicker loading times. So PS5 or current gen offers both of them. You get the best of both worlds. You get graphics and you get 0 to no loading times, because the game loads as you're playing it, so that you don't even know that the game is loading, where you can leave out of one massive area and go into another massive area without even having to break a sweat or happen to take a bathroom break. So Ed Boon's getting a double whammy of what he wants. So why wouldn't they move to the next gen console? You cannot expect them to stay on PS4 forever. Now, I will say this: if the fans are vocal enough, or if Sony is smart enough, then they would release Mortal Kombat 12 on PS4, the last gen consoles, and they can just kind of make it a standard basic game and put all the good features on the current gen console. That's what I personally think they should do. That you can put like Konquest mode on PS5 or whatever the case is, or current gen console, but if you do that, then you may be looking at a lawsuit, because people are buying two different games. You know, people complain and cry about anything nowadays, but Rockstar was able to get away with that, because look at Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5 when it came out. You had to purchase PS5 to get first-person shooter and to get heists and all of that other stuff. But they did find themselves in somewhat of legal trouble, because they promised that we were going to be getting heists when they launched that online trailer. And they had to deliver heists on, PS4 before they delivered it on 5, because if not, they would have been in trouble and violating the law, and they would have violated the, I'm trying to think of the name of it, false advertisement. It would have been false advertisement. So they literally backed themselves into a corner, which they wish they would have never did, by the way, to where they had to focus on getting heists to work on PS4. As soon as they got heists to work on PS4, I should say current gen, they ran and hardtailed, on PS3, they hardtailed over to PS4, I should say, because working on PS3 was just crazy. It was crazy, simply crazy, because it had its limitations, which is why it was so buggy and a whole bunch of other stuff. And they quickly incentivized people to move over to PS4, which is why they let them take their data with them, and they gave them free money, apartments, and a whole bunch of other stuff, because excuse me guys, well, tired. They wanted to offer more. They wanted to offer more to their fans, and they wanted to make more money. If they were not able to do that, Grand Theft Auto 5 would have been ended long time ago, because the limitations on PS3 would have been reached. So with that being said, would you rather stay on a console where you're going to max out your limits, or would you rather go to the next console that has 100 times more limits that you can reach and make more money off your fans? So that's what I'm trying to point out here with Mortal Kombat. Would you rather keep Mortal Kombat 12 on PS4 and the current gen, or last gen I should say, or would you rather put it on current gen, which is PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and you can have 100 times more space to create better stages, better graphics, everything to just flow better, to have the game look better? Now, we all know NRS likes to switch things up, mainly Ed Boon. So each Mortal Kombat game looks different from the last. That's done on purpose. It's not just done as an aesthetic. It's done on purpose, because Ed Boon's #1 rule is, what can we do to make this game different from the last one? So in order for people to not get stale with the Mortal Kombat franchise, or for the franchise not to get stale, Ed Boon makes sure that he delivers a different Mortal Kombat game each and every time. Now, if people did not like Mortal Kombat 11, what makes you think they would like Mortal Kombat 12 if nothing about the game changed and it was just a new story? And what if they continue to Mortal Kombat 13 with the same graphics as MK11, the same aesthetics, the same gameplay? The franchise, people would lose interest in the franchise. For those of you that don't like Mortal Kombat 11, like the ones that played it but eventually stopped playing over time, you don't like Mortal Kombat 11 because there's nothing to do, right? It's just maybe it's too slow for you. Maybe it don't have combos. So for whatever reason, you don't like Mortal Kombat 11, imagine them taking it over into 12 and 13 by not changing anything or listening to fan feedback. So at this point, you are advised to use common sense, so that way you can understand that them putting it on the next gen console allows for them to drop all of the negativity and baggage that came with Mortal Kombat 11 and being able to start completely over and to start fresh, because now you got facial animations, you got ray tracing, you got motion capture, you got all of this stuff, every new tool at your disposal. Now you got to look at things from the point of a nerd gamer like Ed Boon and all of them. They want to play with their new toys. They don't want to keep playing with the things that they were using to make Mortal Kombat 11. They want to play with new toys. When they went from Mortal Kombat 9, look how they went up when they went to Mortal Kombat 10. Mortal Kombat 9 ran on a certain engine. It had this look and feel to it. And then Mortal Kombat X had its own look and feel to it. It was different. And then Mortal Kombat 11 had its own look and feel to it. It was also different. So the point of what I'm pointing out here, and to not go in circles, is the fact that it is in their best interest for them to put Mortal Kombat exclusively on current gen consoles. Now, speaking of exclusivity, moving the video forward, a lot of you are concerned about Mortal Kombat being exclusive to PS5. Don't worry, that question will be answered in the near future. But I can tell you that Sony is on a rampage buying up studios and buying up some of their titles and bringing some of their classic titles back home. As simple as that. I can tell you this is the war between Sony and Microsoft is finally happening, which is the reason why they're trying to get on Microsoft level. What I mean by get on Microsoft level is the fact that Microsoft is out here trying to do mergers. They're trying to get as many studios and build as many studios as they can, but they're going about it by using the lazy way, which is using their money to buy massive companies like Blizzard and things of that nature. Now, Sony has been doing the same thing too, but they have been buying companies that we would look at them as being massively large companies, but they're buying up smaller gamer studios and making them PlayStation exclusives is what they're doing. So rumor has it, moving the video forward, is that Sony is trying to purchase Konami or purchase some of the titles of Konami. So you want to stay tuned, because I am going to be making a video about that. I think it's about time that I add console wars to the lineup of videos, meaning that I will be talking about whatever Sony's got going on and whatever Microsoft got going on. So if you're interested in that, get in the comment section and let me know if that's something I should be covering. Mind you, this channel is ran off your feedback. So again, putting Mortal Kombat on current gen is what's best for business, because you get the aesthetics of the clothing being able to move. You get the aesthetics of not having to put all your female characters in a ponytail because the hair looks terrible, or the hair is stiff, or the hair doesn't want to move the way it's supposed to. I can honestly tell you that is not an issue on current gen, because the hair problems have finally been solved. If any of you are WWE fans, then you would know that the female characters' hair and the males with long hairs, they hair models over the years has been completely fucking terrible. We know that already. So that problem is solved for all games on current gen, especially since now we know that NRS is going to be using a heavily modified Unreal Engine 4 is what they're going to be using. Now, me personally, I think they're going to use an Unreal Engine 4 heavily modified for PS4 like last gen, and then use the 5 for current gen. It would make much more sense to do it that way. However, they have to be careful, because you cannot promise the fans or have them pre-order something and have them purchase something that looks completely different because you put it on another system. So they have to be careful to make sure that they're not violating any antitrust laws or violating, you know, the false advertisement laws that are in place to stop companies from being deceptive with their practices and things of that nature. This is one of the reasons why the game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was delayed, because its trailer showed people that they were getting one thing, and they also told people that each character will have uniqueness. They said, oh, only one person is going to use a gun, this, that, and the third. This person can glide, this person can fly, this person rides a motorcycle. Come to find out, all of it was BS. Every single character in the game that you select could use guns. I'm talking about Harley Quinn. Any character that was playable was able to use guns. And that's something that they wanted and needed to change, because they had fans thinking they were going to get a unique experience, when in reality the unique experience that they got was definitely not a unique experience at all. It was more so of them being lied to, saying that they were going to get one thing and they ended up getting something else versus what they really should have got. So again, I want to pass this question off to you guys in the comment section below. Do you think Sony, NRS, and WB should release the Mortal Kombat franchise on current gen consoles, which is the PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC? Or do you think it should be released on, let's say, last gen consoles such as PS4, Xbox One, and PC? So I just want you to look at it from a business perspective, which I just gave you, and I want you to look at it from, let's say, a gamer's perspective too. So let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.